Ready to dominate your industry with strategy that actually scales? At Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm, we're not just PR experts, we're licensed sports agents certified in AI and elite business consultants with over 2 decades of experience leading global projects across multiple countries. Visit cprfirm.com, that's colemanprfirm.com, and millionairex.ai. Then download the Millionaire X app, your AI-powered guide to getting out of debt, investing smarter, and building generational wealth. Coleman Public Relations and Consulting Firm. It's a family business. It's different.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
We're here in Rio de Janeiro, and I guarantee you this will be an unforgettable experience as you get to taste the food, the culture, have experiences with the historical aspect of Brazil. That's right, one of the major parts of the African diaspora. And guess what? We want you to join us here in Brazil. The views are amazing, the food is spectacular, and the experience is unforgettable. And the only thing that's missing is you. Join us.
Listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. You walking around thinking you're free, but let me ask you something. Are you really, or are you still running on somebody else's programming? Phillip wrote 2 books that are about to flip your whole world upside down. I'm talking about Passive-Aggressive Racism in the System of White Supremacy and 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind. This isn't some soft, feel-good reading. This is the manual on how the system keeps you stuck and exactly what you need to do to break those chains. Phillip laid out the game they're running and the blueprint to take back your mind. Because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So stop making excuses and go grab both books right now on Amazon. Your mental liberation is waiting, and it starts with these pages. Don't sleep on this. Get them now.
After 13 years of exposing lies in the media, I discovered the biggest lie of all. They want you to think racism is random, accidental, just bad people doing bad things. But what if I told you anti-black racism was engineered, programmed like software, marketed like a product, and designed to survive across generations? That's exactly what I prove in my new book, Us versus the Machine, how anti-black racism was programmed, marketed, and made to survive. Get Us versus the Machine on Amazon today, because once you understand the system, you can beat the system.
Hey, baby, if you're tired of watered-down news that don't speak to us, then it's time you download the African Diaspora News Channel app. You can get it right now on Google Play and the Apple App Store. Stay informed, stay empowered, and support media that speaks truth from our perspective. Now, here's Brother Phil with today's message.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us on the stream. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. And tonight, we're going to talk about Don Lemon, Georgia Fort, and 2 other journalists, black journalists, was arrested and charged, all with the same charge, as you can see, conspiracy and attempted to injure during the practice of a religious service. Now, if you looked at the original video, which we'll look at that tonight, you will see that none of that happened at all. It's complete lies. Just like the other black activist and attorney was arrested. What's her name? Nakima Levy Armstrong, Chantel Allen, and William Kelly. All these black people getting gaffled up, right? And they're not, we didn't see a bunch of white people get arrested. It's just a bunch of black folk. So we got to talk about that, ladies and gentlemen. We got to talk about, journalists and journalism and why it should be protected. But at the same time, you also got to know when to hold and when to fold, and which we should be doing, okay? Because it's not a coincidence that all these people are black. It's not a coincidence. They had white folks there. You'll see in the video. They had all kind of other people there, but only the black people getting gaffled up for the most part, right? So let's talk about that. Now all of them are out of jail. They was released without bond. While their case is pending. Actually, Don Lemon, he's actually on, I saw on live right now. I kind of listened to what he had to say. I mean, he's just doing a Don Lemon thing. I mean, it's nothing really spectacular he's talking about. But we want to show these videos and just have a conversation, right? And it kind of leads back to, in one instance, I understand you got to do what you think your job is. But then another instance, you got to think the community right now is saying, stay out of that. That's not our fight. We can report on it, but from a distance. We want to get into that tonight. All right. Well, I'm going to get there, y'all. I'm going to talk about it. Don't worry. Real quick, before we get really into it, it's not going to take long. The Brazil trip, October 30th through November the 8th. That will be a trip coming up not too long. Make sure you make your deposit. You want to go. A lot of people said they wanted to go to Brazil. That's the only reason we're doing this. If y'all don't want to go on these trips, let me know, and I won't even mention them, right? But it is October 30th through November the 8th. Go ahead and sign up now. It'll be a great time to sign up, and that way you can go. Also, Toronto, Canada. Let me make sure. Okay, I'm gonna have to fix that. Anyway, November. Hold on, let me look at something real quick. I want to get exactly what. Well, it's set up for July 26th in Toronto, Canada, at the Aqua Supper Club. We will be putting out a link for that too, coming up for the tickets. There'll be tickets you to that. So Toronto, Canada, look out for us in the summertime, and the Ohio Black Expo that should be coming up in May. So just want to let everybody know what we got going on. Outside of that, of course, we thank you for downloading the African Diaspora News Channel app. It was greatly appreciated. All that support and us doing that, comes directly from the people. We don't got no big sign-on bonus. We don't take money from none of these people because they show off all the time. And I'm like, nope, I don't. Nope. We're gonna just work with the people, and the people gonna support us, and that's the way we're gonna run this thing, right? People support. All right, outside of that, let me go ahead and get started. I know your time is precious, and I don't want to take too much more of your time, right? All right, so let me start off with Don Lemon. Let me start off with him first. So I want y'all to look at the videos of what Don was doing, okay? And you be the judge if Don should have got some charges, right? Let's look at what Don actually was doing, all right? So let's go and get Don on the screen here. Let's just check what Don was actually doing.
Into Minneapolis a little bit ago, and did some reconnaissance on the ground. Speaking to an organization there that's gearing up for resistance and protest. I've been pleasantly surprised to see the community coming together. Diverse community. If you see this, when we first pulled up, we're like, wait a minute, which operation are we at?
Now, he said there's a diverse community. I want to make sure you point that out. Diverse, okay, but the rest aren't diverse.
And as it turns out, because we're like, well, this is kind of MAGA coded, right? So the American flag or whatever, but these are resistance protesters. They're planning an operation that we're going to follow them on. I can't tell you exactly what they're doing, but it's called Operation Pull Up. And it's Nakima Armstrong, and she has been doing this since George Floyd.
Nakima is one of the people that got charged too.
Dante Wright and others, where they surprise people, catch them off guard, and hold them to account. And so that's what we're doing here. And then after we do this operation, you'll see it live. And these operations are surprise operations. Again, I can't tell you where. How do you feel about this?
I don't necessarily agree with everything that's going on in the Twin Cities right now, but I don't think it's good to fight fire with fire. I think it's good to speak up. I think it's good to protest, but I think it's better to do it in a peaceful way.
You don't think this is peaceful?
It's trespassing. How would you feel if I went to your house and I started yelling?
I think these people would go inside of anybody's house.
This is a house of God. In a house, people don't yell at each other.
There's a lot of yelling in my house growing up. We still loved each other.
It doesn't necessarily mean yelling is the answer, right?
No, but I think it's the way you work things out is that you talk to each other, you disagree. I think maybe if the pastor would try to calm things down and say, let's all talk.
I think that it's good to talk. I think protesting on the streets is fine, but I think there's a difference between that and then going into someone's property and then yelling.
Would you be okay with your pastor talking to them?
Yeah, I think conversations will be great. I think we need more communication. I don't necessarily agree with what's going on with the ICE raids and stuff, but I also don't think think fire with fire is the answer.
What do you think of
Just
this?
a harmless Christian here that wants to praise the Lord with my son, and now I got to go home. I'm sorry that you guys are so angry.
I'm just chronicling. I'm not with the group.
What do I have to say?
Can you understand why they're angry?
I don't understand any of this because I'm a simple man. I'm a simple man who loves the Lord and is a good father. This is what we look forward to, is coming, being with our family and praising Jesus, and that's not something that we have to run away from. So this is kind of a bad day for us. But, we're going to heaven, so that's the best news we got.
Do you understand that some of these folks feel voiceless?
I don't understand because right now I'm so upset right now. I don't really have I'm thirsty and I can't think very clearly. So what I want to do is just say, we love you. My son and I love you guys. And
I'm a journalist. They're activists.
The simplest thing we can say is that we love you guys.
What do you mean, you guys?
Well, whoever's here in this house.
Okay.
We don't distinguish between Christian and non-Christian. We love everyone. We want everyone to come to heaven.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. We want folks to go to heaven. And if we need to talk about these things, then this isn't the time for that, really.
But don't you think until we go to heaven, if you believe in that there should be some sort of peace here on earth, and that people should have agency, and we shouldn't be beating people up off the street, and we should be abiding by the Constitution?
I think that's just a little bit loaded for me right now, what you're doing.
Why so?
Well, I don't want to interview right now. I don't want to interview. I just want to tell you guys I love you. I don't need to interview right now because I want to be with my son. It's Sunday. It's time for rest and for renewal. I would like to answer your question, but I just can't right now.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. So, those videos with Don Lemon, okay? Don Lemon didn't do anything that I would say, oh, man, Don Lemon was in there just really, okay. The only thing I would say Don Lemon maybe shouldn't have did was to go inside that particular church, especially during a service. He was saying, well, I was just doing journalism. I was covering it, right? But it just was not a good look. If anything, like what he did outside the church, like if the protesters go in there, that's them. But let the people come out and you interview on what's going on. If they want to record cell phone cam, let them do it. But don't you go in there and do it. Some things you got to be careful with, all right? Cool. So Don got charged. Fine. Not fine he got charged, but he got charged. There's a lot of black people saying, well, why was he up there in the middle of them anyway? There's a lot of black people saying, we already know what's going on with those protests up there. We stand in the house. We're not involved with it. If he want to make commentary, he can do it from his home or whatever. He don't have to be in the middle of it like anybody else is making commentary. The local news is showing footage. People are posting things on, TikTok, wherever else they posting footage. And he could, look at it and analyze it. He can talk to experts. He can do all kinds of things. That way he's not actually physically involved. Because how many times have we talked about this, is that when you go out in certain environments, especially when you don't have the backing and protection of black people, you're on your own. And that's how they easily attack you, because you're on your own. I know that fine line, and I'm just doing my job, but sometimes you got to think, is doing my job worth the problem? Now, Don got money. He got money to fight, and because he got cashed out pretty good when he got fired from CNN. He got cashed out. They had to pay him his whole contract, and his contract was nice. So he got a bag when he left. But still, y'all have to think, you don't want to be too many places where the black community is not in mass numbers to support you. That's just a protection mechanism. I see some people calling certain ones sellouts and all that. I'm not even getting into that conversation. Only conversation I'm getting into is when you don't have the backing of the community and you don't have us in mass numbers, look what happens. This administration is looking for any little thing to put target on black people back. This. And you don't move accordingly? You think the rest of the community is in the house just because? No, we know that's the play. We know it. We know that's all they think of is anti-black racism, and you gave them a lane. Now, the first time they wanted to charge him, the federal judge said, no, I'm not going to do that. But then they went found a judge, or whatever, grand jury that would do it. Now, you know the thing in America, they say you can indict a ham sandwich. You know that. Now, the second person, Miss Georgia Fort, she's a journalist as well. I didn't know she was up there in Minneapolis. Didn't know that. But she's up there, and she had got charged, and she recorded, when the feds showed up at her house, right? Well, let's go ahead and play what she had to say, because we're going to get into this conversation tonight. Hold on. Let me go to Miss Georgia here.
You guys, I wanted to alert the public that agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury sometime, I guess, in the last 24 hours, and that they have a warrant for my arrest. I've talked to my attorney, and I'm being advised to go with them, I guess, down to Whipple. And my children are here. They're impacted by this. This is all stemming from the fact that I filmed a protest as a member of the media. We are supposed to have our constitutional right of the freedom to film, to be a member of the press. I don't feel like I have my First Amendment right as a member of the press. Because now federal agents are at my door arresting me for filming the church protest a few weeks ago. Again, I don't have a long time here, you guys, but I wanted you to know, for me, agents are at my door right now. My attorney has spoken with them. I did send a relative outside to talk to them. They're showing some type of documentation, apparently, that they got an indictment from a grand jury. I knew that I was on a defendant's list. I did not publish it because it was under seal. And so we've done everything that we can to try and abide by, the advice of our attorneys. But right now, you guys, I wanted you to know I'm going to have to hop off here and surrender to agents as a member of the press. I filmed the church protest a few weeks ago, and now I'm being arrested for that. It's hard to understand how we have a constitution, constitutional rights, when you can just be arrested for being a member of the press. We've seen all these violations. All right, you guys, I gotta go. They're knocking.
Yep, she's coming right now.
Give me 1 second. All right, guys.
You want to?
This is video independent Minneapolis journalist Georgia Fort streamed on her YouTube channel earlier this month as protesters entered City's church in St. Paul. The protesters said they did it because one of the church's pastors, David Easterwood, is also the field director of the local ICE office. But Fort said she was not participating in the protest, but rather covering it as a journalist. Regardless, she and national journalist Don Lemon face the same charges as the 3 protesters arrested last week and 2 additional protesters arrested today. The Department of Justice accusing them of conspiring to interfere with the free exercise of religion.
Agents are at my door right now. They're saying that they were able to go before a grand jury.
A grand jury indicted the 4 new defendants after a federal magistrate and federal judge refused to sign a criminal complaint for them last week, citing a lack of probable cause that they committed a crime. The arrest of the journalist sparked protests in Minneapolis throughout the day.
Journalism is under attack.
And after their initial court appearance, the judge ordered all the defendants to be released while their case is pending.
Amplifying the truth, documenting what is happening in our community is not a crime.
Yeah.
And the questions that were asked a few weeks ago on a Sunday morning by concerned community members, those questions still need to be answered. And as a journalist, I am committed to continuing to follow the story until their questions are answered. Thank you.
All right, so that's Miss Georgia Fort, that's going through that as well. But let me say this: if Miss Georgia hears this, or even Don Lemon, himself, if he may hear this, hello Don, what's up, bro? Look, check this out. Y'all have to understand, you're not dealing with a regular administration, okay? He has Stephen Miller and a bunch of other people around him that's worse than he is. Because Stephen Miller is way, way off the chain. Trump is actually not as bad as Stephen Miller is. Beyond which, Stephen Miller is the main one. He's the super villain out of the whole story. You know, people put Trump name on there because he's the president, but no, it's Stephen Miller. And that guy, he would say he would love the country to be 100 million just white people. That's his mindset. That's what he wants. But that's not going to happen. But anything they can do to target black people, they're going to do it. That's why people say it in our community, stay out of that. Stay out the way. This is not our fight. I understand journalism. Listen, I do a form of journalism, and I can talk about what's going on in Minnesota all day long right here from Houston. I don't have to go up there in the middle of that mess. I don't have to do a thing at all. Now, Don, you got a little bread. If you want to get the story, the smart way to do it, I'm just giving you some pointers, Don. The smart way to do it is to hire a white journalist, because they're not going to go at him or her like they would go at you. That when you got money, you can do things like that. So if you really want that story, Don, pay a white journalist to do it. I guarantee you, Don, if they had to went in there, the white one, they wouldn't even be paying attention. But now, since it's you, oh yes, they coming with some charges. You remember they had a protest not too long ago, I think in Philadelphia. And some black women came out for that protest. I think it was during the No Kings protest. And immediately they went after those black women. All them white folks doing what they doing, but they went immediately to the black women. And when we all saw this, say, oh, that's the play. They want us to come out there, and the moment we do come out there, they're trying to put charges on us. So it even further say, stay out the mess. A lot of black people say this is not our fight. Why? Because why are we going to protest ICE for? Well, we're not going to protest and defend criminality. It's criminality if you in this country or any country pass your visa time. You made an agreement when you sign that visa to say, okay, I'm cool with coming to the country for 90 days, 180 days, whatever many days it is. And you said that by the end of this, I'm going to go back to my home country. When you stay in this country and don't go back to your home country, now you're breaking the law. Because a lot of people came in legally. Not everybody came in illegally, but they overstayed their visa, and that's why they're still here. So you're breaking a law by staying here. So what fight do we have with that? We as black Americans can't relate to no visas. Now, of course, we all have traveled, or at least, those who have traveled internationally when you needed a visa. And you sign up, you put all your name down, wherever. They find out how long you're going to be here. You tell them, hey, I'm going to be here from this time to this time. Some countries want to know where you're staying, what hotel you're staying at, and they want to know your flight information. They want to know the flight number. They want to check all that to make sure you're leaving to even get a visa in certain countries. Why? Because you need to go back. That's bottom line. You can't. Now, if you want to stay, then you go through the process to stay. Okay? So what do we have as black Americans with that issue? We have nothing to do with that issue. So when people say it's not our fight, that's an easy way to talk about it. But if you really get technical, what are we fighting for? Defending visa overstays? What are we fighting for? People that just came across the border and said they had an asylum claim and they really didn't? Is that what we're fighting for? What are we actually fighting for? Well, ICE tactics are brutal and this and that and the third, and the tactics of the local police department been brutal. The tactics of the county sheriff has been brutal. The tactics of the state police have been brutal on us as black Americans. Where y'all at on that? That's more of an issue for us. But what we supposed we cannot go fight about visa overstays and people that crossed over into our country said they needed asylum, but they really don't need asylum. We can't fight for people that have a deportation order and fight the federal government because we want them to stay in this country, breaking a law that we can't get away with breaking the law. They put the weight of the law on Black Americans. So that's why I'm saying, like, all you other groups too, why don't you come out there to protest what? See, that's why y'all protests don't go nowhere. You're protesting the wrong thing. There's no moral, what's the word I'm looking for? There's no moral grounding in what you're doing. Well, yeah, it's bad what ICE is doing. They deporting people. Some of the tactics they're using is not right. I agree. But the grounding of any kind of protest that makes it sustained is you defending against, or you fighting against injustice. George Floyd, the evidence was this man's life was taken and it didn't have to be. This man's constitutional rights were literally taken away from him, his human rights, on film. That's why people came out and say, oh, hell no. Now they said, well, they killed some protesters or whatever the case may be. And they're protesting for people to stay in the country that overstayed their visa. They're protesting for people to stay in the country that came over once again and said they had an asylum claim, and they didn't need an asylum because that was a way to game the system to get access into the United States of America. Because once you cross the border and Border Patrol process you, they release you, and then you go into the interior of the United States and you never show up to court. And yes, you got a deportation order after that, but you stayed doing whatever you're doing. So how are we supposed to be protesting that? On top of dealing with the racism that we're going to encounter when we get there. It doesn't make sense for us to get involved. When black people say something, listen, y'all, listen. Just listen. There's many issues in the Black community that everybody can be covering. And once again, if that stuff in Minnesota, you want to do it, listen, because Don moving like he's still on CNN, but see, CNN wouldn't let Don go in that church. I promise that much. See, that's the difference. When you're independent, you're just doing things on your own. When you're with the corporation, they're like, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. How many times have you seen a mainstream media camera crew just storm a church during a church service? You've never seen that. You've seen them outside of church making news reports. You've seen them interviewing people when they come out of places, but they never storm. You can't even go storm a restaurant like talking about. But religious institutions are protected, period. It don't matter if the guy that was the pastor is the head of ICE. You catch him outside. Once he come out and he get in the area of what you call a public area, because the whole area of where that church is at is considered private property except on the sidewalks and stuff like that, right? Because y'all technically trespassing. On top of that, I mean, you gotta think. But my thing is, if you're gonna go to jail for fighting for us. That's the only thing I'm saying. Now, if I'm wrong, y'all tell me I'm wrong. But I don't think they shouldn't be going to jail. Well, one day they didn't. Like I said, going into the church thing, they shouldn't have did that. I would say that. But they all can report on it, but you don't have to be in the midst of it. That's all. And once again, Don should know better than anybody. He say he been a journalist for 30 years. He should know better than that. But I think Don's mindset was, I'm about to get a scoop that nobody else got. So let me go on and go in here with him, get this scoop, interview people, or whatever. Don wasn't leading anything. Don wasn't part of we all know this. But I just believe Don thought, I'm going to go in and get a scoop over everybody. And hey, man, they're going to be saying, hey, man, look what Don Lemon's doing. So, but y'all have to understand, this administration is not like even Trump first term. Yes, like y'all didn't realize what this man was saying before he got in, that he wanted revenge and he wanted his get back on a whole lot of people. I know you. I mean, I told y'all that man, he's gonna do that, and as soon as he got in office, he started doing it. Why y'all think that man is like he ain't playing when he say a lot of things? Clearly, you're gonna have to stay in the house, or at least avoid some of those issues. Let them folks fight them battles. If them folks want to go out there and they want to fight for people to stay over their visas, and they want to fight for people that came over, said they need asylum but really didn't, if they want to fight for that, let them do it. This is why black people say this is not our issue. This is not our fight. Till you say he got a scoop. All right, he's saying the handcuffs to match. Yeah. That's kind of what I think a lot of his thing is he wanted a scoop, and he wanted the a story nobody else have. And that's fine doing that, but you got to understand the parameters, especially when you know they on your bumper. If you know you're on their bumper, then you got to definitely move accordingly. And Don should have some sort of lawyer he could talk to, and I'm not talking about the lawyer he got now because his case, but like say, hey, just refresh me on, certain laws. Like, can I go in these buildings? If he would even ask the lawyer before that, you know what I'm saying? And he wouldn't have went in, he'd have been fine. He said, look, I'll just get people when they come out. So we'll see what happens with Don. Somebody said something in here. You say you minding your business, huh? Yeah, I get it. But let me address something real quick before I get back to what I was saying. So somebody was saying, a few people were saying here, oh man, why my wrench? I don't have my wrench anymore. Well, you don't really need a wrench in a members only chat. You don't need it because the people that's not here is not trolling. So what is the need? There's no need for it. That's how I look at it. It's just no need. And another thing is, it's just not a need. I'm gonna leave it at that. It's just not a need. Y'all got, when y'all chatting in there, trust me, that's the only reason we do it, is because that's the people that's actually gonna contribute. They're not gonna troll. And I'm not saying people that's gonna troll that maybe not doing the membership. I'm not saying that, but it still leaves it too open to trolling. And we're just not for the trolling. That's it. Now, get back to Don and them. So for y'all, got there was other two people on there. It was two black men journalists that got arrested as well and got charged as well. But when Black America say stay in the house, when Black America say this is not our fight, this is not our issue, stay out of it, that's what we mean. Stay out of it. Leave it alone. What do you get out of that? You're not going to get anything out of it that you can't do at your crib. Like you can do all the reporting you want from your crib. If you want to go out there, you can, but just in certain ways. I wouldn't go out there in the middle of ice right now. They'd be like, oh, a Negro, let's get him. That's how they are. It don't matter if you're a reporter, they're going to do that to you. So why even go out there? It doesn't make sense. Oh, we got to report the news. We the press. We got freedom. Well, clearly this administration don't respect the Constitution. Clearly. They showing that out every day. So once again, you got to move accordingly. You got people like Letitia James, like, she's like, I'm going to fight him and this and that and the third. It's like, okay, if you got a bag, you shouldn't even be here. You shouldn't even be in America dealing with that. You should like, man, I'm out. If I come back, I'll come back after he get out of office, but I ain't gonna be here. Some of the stuff y'all don't even have to deal with y'all with money. The thing is, Don lives in New York. He lives in New York. So he flew away from New York over to Minnesota for that. And then Don was over there covering the Grammys, right? He was covering the Grammys. And that's after all that, that's when they went and picked him up in L.A. It's crazy. It's crazy. You say Don Lemon was hard-headed. It's a lot. Well, hard-headed people learn the hard way. Just keeping it 100 with you. Hard-headed people always going to learn the hard way. When black people tell you don't do something, don't do it. When we tell you to do something, you do it. Don't be, as some people saying, the crash test dummy. Don't be that. Don't be made an example out of. Don't do that. Let them white folk go cover those protests. Let them do it. Let them go cover it storming in the church. Let them do it. It just don't make sense to me. All the issues we got in the black community that we could be talking about and covering. Now I get it. Georgia stays over there. So I guess it's something that's in her city or whatever. I get it. But Don way in New York. What is he even doing out there? No, Don was not a convict. He was just charged. You know what I'm saying? But all of them that was charged, all of them got to leave with no bond. They all were released. So clearly, what they charged with wasn't that bad. If you got released, nobody got held. Not to say that those charges are light, because anything fed, you don't want that problem. But see, sometimes it's not even about getting a conviction. Sometimes it's dragging you through the mud so you can waste a lot of your money. Because you remember your girl Kamala Harris talked about that. She said she would charge people and go and put them through the ringer for about a good 6 months, and then she said she'll drop the case. She said she would do that when she was in California. That is a strategy they do to just drain you of your resources, because you're going to spend a lot of money trying to fight any kind of criminal case. Now all the money Don and going to spend, and the rest are going to spend with lawyers and all of that, because I heard that criminal cases from the feds start off at $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Well, Don got it. But I don't know if Georgia got it like that. Don't know. Or the other two gentlemen, I don't know. I don't know nobody's finances. But clearly, they knew that they couldn't get an indictment from the judge, so they went around them. They tried that mess with Letitia James, and her stuff got thrown. Her and James Comey stuff got thrown out. It's like I say, it's not that they not going to try. Oh Lord, did you just say put Don Lemon in the cell with Diddy? Oh God, why you want to put Don in the cell with Diddy? Why? What is that supposed to do? Was Don supposed to do interviews with him in jail? Like what are y'all implying about putting Don in the same cell with P. Diddy? Hold on, what you say? Oh, you say Don doing too much? You say he probably still angry from finding Willis? Of course listen, he trying to circle back and get her too. And Alvin Bragg, he gonna try to get him too. This dude's on a revenge tour. Like it's like, I mean, you see it. He's messing with everybody. Global leaders. He's messing with everybody. Why people don't get that? Stay in your house or suffer the consequences. That's really what it is. Stay out of them people's business. There's so much y'all can cover all over America that has to do with us. It's a lot you can cover. It's a lot of stories that's not being covered. Cover those. If you, especially, you got resources to cover them. We would cover more things if we had the resources. As they come in and we're doing different things. But yeah, I would like to do that too, but I wouldn't want to be out there. I'd rather hire somebody to do that. I don't want to do that. let you get the story out there. Seeing you and the camera person, y'all get the story. Shoot, just bring it back. That's what Don should have. That's what he should be doing anyway. He shouldn't be out there in the field. Why y'all keep talking about Don Lemon and Diddy? Why y'all keep saying about? What did you say? Don would be very happy to be in a cell with Diddy. Now, why would Don be happy? Don don't want to be in no jail cell. I don't think nobody in there right mind. Diddy don't even want to be there. Diddy want to go home. Shoot, Diddy gonna be coming home not too long. I know he's not gonna be there his whole term. I already know that. You say this what happens when you're not in tune with the grassroots and the new black renaissance? It's called just not reading the room. That's all. If a lot of the Democrat shills are reading the room, then clearly he knows a lot of Democrat shills. He knows a lot of them. And if they are not getting involved, you don't see the NAACP in mass numbers getting involved in Minnesota. You don't see the Urban League. You don't see the National Action Network with Al Sharpton in the middle of that mess. If you don't see them in the middle, then why would the rest of us show up? That's the people that love to be in front of the camera and be talking about issues. Think about it. The Urban League, the NAACP in large numbers, and Al Sharpton's National Action Network are nowhere to be found around that. Why? Because there's no angle to defend it. There's no angle. You should be out here. I'm not going to be out here defending overstay visas and gaming the system with asylum claims. Then when you get over here, some of you, not all, you're anti-black racist. You're sitting up here plotting to get black Americans out of jobs so you can bring in your cousin, your uncle, and anybody else that come in. Why would we say something to ICE at that point when people are like that? I'm just saying. It's not like a lot of you came and it was just our friends. A lot of you looked at us as the enemy and competition. So if ICE is clearing the board, well, black men, definitely a lot of black men can get jobs. Black men, and women too, but black men definitely need jobs. Because black men have more responsibility to take care of the family. And when ICE get a lot of these other men out, these are jobs that's open for black men to go get, and a lot of black men are getting these jobs. There are black men that have made videos thanking Trump because it opened up a job for them. Because them immigrant men ran off the site. So they wouldn't get caught by ICE. Because I definitely remember, definitely in Port Arthur, when the only people you had to deal with was white people. That's it. Just black and white. Then later down the line, that's when everybody and their mama start coming to this country. And then the immigrants replaced, the black Americans and even a lot of white Americans. Why? Not because they were better, because the corporations could pay them, least money. And at the same time, I hate to say I understand it, but I actually do. Payroll is your biggest bill that you have outside of what you do with your taxes. Payroll. So you want jobs done, but you don't want to be broke on payroll. So you're going to want the payroll numbers to drop, and how they drop multiple ways. They get immigrants to come in, do the jobs for less money. That saves money on payroll, and they let you go. Another way they clear payroll is laying people off. You heard Amazon laid off 16,000 people. That's clearing payroll. Your accountants may say, hey, we need to cut payroll by 15% because of what's happening with sales, and you can't get in the red. So they're going this. And I've been part of that before. I've been let go because a payroll cut. So it's payroll. That's why they became so rich with slavery. You want to go back to slavery. We worked for free. So that's why they became so rich. I can become rich, extremely wealthy, if everybody you see work with me here and people you don't see work with me for free. Oh, man. That's a lot of money. I don't have to pay no payroll or nothing. I can invest it back in the business and be mega rich very easily. That's how they got rich in the first place. Free labor. So these people have been used to not paying for labor. So the most cheapest way or cost-effective way for payroll, they're going to do it. That's why they're going to employ AI into more things. Why? AI cuts payroll. I'm just telling y'all 100 about business. AI is cutting payroll. They don't have to pay benefits. When you have an employee, like the money that come out your check, you see how many federal income taxes you're paying? Well, you're only paying half of your taxes. Your employer is paying the other half of your taxes if you didn't know that. So if he cuts you, he don't have to pay that big insurance premium. He don't have to pay your taxes. There's a lot of things he don't have to pay when they replace you with artificial intelligence. I'm telling you, that's why they do it. That's why all these people are getting replaced. It's to cut payroll. You may say, that's not right. How they look at it, I want to make money, and I don't want my business to go under. And payroll can take your business under if you do it wrong. You say slavery $1 billion a year. Yeah, let's say if it was $1 billion in that time. Would you imagine? Let's say collectively. That's why this country became so rich. And never let people forget that this country became rich through slavery, free labor. That's it. The slaves built their own homes. That's you know what I'm saying? The slaves built their own homes. They gave them material and say, hey, build your own slave quarters. They gave them clothes. You know, it wasn't the best clothes. They gave them clothes. And they stayed right there on the plantation to serve them 24/7. Yeah, that's why they became rich. And these people who have the same attitude back then has the same attitude today. This is why they want to target black people. But I hope y'all learn. What can we learn? Because, it's like Mr. Farrakhan, don't laugh, learn. Because I'm not laughing at nobody. I'm watching and I'm learning. The lesson is when black people say do something collectively, you do it. When black people say stay away from certain things, you stay away. Because if you got to have the backing of the community. Notice people ain't just screaming and yelling and whatever about Don and them. They talking about it, but it's not like the community just outraged. There's no outrage because you shouldn't have been over there. Yes, they're the same as their ancestors. You 100% right. They're the same as their ancestors. Yes, you're right. So sometimes you got to sit down and listen. And that's the bottom line. But appreciate everybody joining us tonight. Greatly appreciate it. Make sure to click the subscribe button. Make sure to click the like button. And also, y'all music fans, they like Soraya. She got a new song today. Make sure you go check it out. It's a part 1, Love Alphabetically. You'll see why it's that. Part 1 of that song. And go ahead, check it out. Subscribe to the channel. Check out the music. Every week we dropping some new music with Soraya, and that project is always very fun for me, to be honest with you. I like that project way more sometimes than this stuff, because this stuff sometimes is heavy. This stuff is taxing. I ain't gonna lie with you. Sometimes it gets taxing mentally, because it's like, oh God, yeah, it's like the same old. People don't listen. People still fighting each other. That's why I told you about the Asians. The Asians don't get involved with none of it. They like, man, forget all that. I'm making my bag. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm trying to get my people to get away from some of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, America is an interesting place. I still do enjoy doing what I'm doing. Don't get me wrong. But it's just sometimes I don't, it's a lot of times work. I ain't gonna lie. It's work to it. It's not just, I'm just having a bunch of great time. It's the truth, because I can do it like that, but it's not going to be the same. You got to put effort into this. I'm letting y'all know. You think, oh, you just cut on the camera and just talk. No, it's not like what you think it is. There's way more to it behind the scenes than what a lot of you think. I'll tell you right now. But all right, y'all. All right.